Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Cup corners.
Yes.
Okay. This is where the music starts.
Okay.
And it was really good music. And it plays on my other computer. But I would just like to ask a question. And you can click if you want to on your reactions down below and raise your hand. But how many of you remember a blue and gold banquet that you've been to? Yeah, I see some hands. I do see some hands.
Been to a few of them.
And why is the blue and gold banquet important?
I think
Well,
Todd, I was expecting Todd to answer the question.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a lot of fun for the boys and it's exciting.
Key point. It is fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. And there's more to
it. The Cub Scouts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun for the Cub Scouts.
No, I said it's the birthday of the Cub Scouts.
The birthday of the Cub Scouts.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's also an opportunity for the parents to come and celebrate, what their kids have accomplished at a more, I would say, relaxed atmosphere, even though there's a lot of work that goes into it. And there's so many different options on how to celebrate that birthday. It's really exciting.
Right. And I'm just showing you a few of those options, but having the parents there is a key part of the Cub Scout program, isn't it? And as the boys and girls get older, then we transition so that they're doing more involved activities. Now they're separated a little bit from the Cub Scout or from the parents, and now they're doing things with their peers and doing more mature activities. So the key point I want to make on this is really the Cub Scouts is the foundation of everything we do in scouting. And if the boys and girls if they get a good foundation at this point in scouting, they're going to carry that with them to scouts, to the ventures, and to whatever programs they get involved in scouting. So those are just some ideas. And these are some ideas. I don't know, I could ask who has had a very successful blue and gold banquet and what made it successful, if you have any volunteers on that.
I do.
Okay.
I'm Shelly Hendrickson. I'm the Cub Scout Commissioner over training in District 5. And one of the most fun and productive, successful birthdays we had was we did a introduction to the Pinewood Derby. And so we had a paper racetrack on the wall around, and each kid drew their own car and were able to place it, wherever they wanted. And then they were able to receive their Pinewood Derby kits. And we made it, such a big deal, and they were so excited. And, the tables were set with little Hot Wheel cars, and it was really simple to do and pretty cheap because Hot Wheels you can buy, 99 cents. And the kids just were so psyched for that Pinewood Derby. It was really fun.
Isn't that great?
You're going to need to keep scrolling the pictures as people talk. It's okay to talk, but we.
Yeah. I'm going. My finger got tired. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So isn't it fun though to do these activities with these Cub Scouts? The Pinewood Derby is a high point in my memories. To see these boys and and with their little cars that they've worked on so hard, you know, with their parents, and now to show them off and watch them beam and I hope every Cub Master, when you have your Pinewood Derby, if you take every car that a boy has made or girl, and if you hold it up in front of the audience and explain why that is a special car, and you watch that boy or girl just beam, because that is just an incredible experience for them. Okay, so we're going to move on because we don't have a lot of time. And hold on, I got to get the next one here. This was all supposed to be together, and on the Klondike, I found the special music was called, and no copyrights on it, and it was called Skating with the Squirrels. And it was just beautiful, and unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hear it. But how many are planning to go to the Klondike Derby coming up?
The Klondike, it's not, yeah,
Yeah. How many?
the Thurston Peak.
Yeah, the Thurston Peak. Or if you're from one of the other districts, you're going to have a Klondike, and it's probably going to be in January or February. I hope you're really planning on going on it. And somebody, if you wouldn't mind, tell me, why is the Klondike camp out important in a young boy's or girl's life?
Because they get to interact with the other troops from other areas. Plus, depending on what they've got for a program. Now, I've been to the office several times, and so far they've not got a program. We're supposed to be going to Camp Tracy, and I don't know what the program is there yet. We're planning on going, but we don't know what it is.
Okay, you're not in Thurston Peak District, are you?
No, we're in the Weber Rapids. We're going to Camp Tracy.
Because I know in Thurston Peak, we've got it posted on our district webpage. And they're going to do a lot of fun things. We have the traditional fire starting contest, and we've got these sled races and all kinds of things. But what does this do for a young boy? Why is it so important for him or her to go on this kind of activity?
Steve, I'll tell you from my experience when I was a young scout going to my first Klondike, the most important thing I learned was to dress properly, to wear waterproof boots and a warm coat, and to bundle up, because I was miserable because I didn't do that.
Okay, and I think that's very common experience. And I would like to say that one of the things, well, we're going to talk about TAP planning approach in the administrative part of our roundtable. But one of the things that we really need to do is prepare these young boys or girls to go on the Klondike. And one way to do that is to have a dry run. Before you go on Klondike, you take the boys and girls in your troop, take them out on an overnight camp out. And that's what we've always done in our troop. And we take them just up above the houses where we are, so it's an easy walk back to their home if they have to, but they get the cold experience. And you would be amazed at what change that makes for when they go on the real Klondike, which is way out of Tracy, the Tracy camp. And so make sure they're prepared. And then this gives them bragging rights. Once they go on this camp out and they survive, they will talk about this for months.
Dave,
Yeah,
one of the
Yeah.
other,
We got to
One of
keep going here, guys.
okay, but we still have 5 minutes, so get his comment in.
okay, one of the great experiences, I think, is if you can use snowshoes. If you can use
Absolutely.
snowshoes, that's an experience that's incredible.
Yeah, there's so many choices of what you can do, and snowshoes is a great experience. Okay, but we're going to move on because we need to get here scouting for food. And hey, that's my music. Where did it come from? Why is it working now? If you have an answer to why this is working, raise your, no, I have no idea. So scouting for food. As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna turn it off. No, scouting for food is coming up, and I think we're all on board with that. Just, oh, wait a minute, there was supposed to be a slide that said, oh yeah, this is what happened in 2021. So last year, we had some great experience with scouting for food. How many pounds did we get in our district? Anyone remember? I don't have the numbers with me, but it was a lot of food. And we worked a lot through Smith's, grocery stores, and this is experience. One of the things, if you notice this picture right here, the scouts are in the foyer of one of the Smith stores, and they're in uniform, and people as they go by, what kind of impression do they get of those scouts? Now, Paul, I couldn't hear you. You were saying something.
Actually, I was just mouthing words, but they get a great understanding of what scouting can do.
Yeah, the people, the public get a great idea. And this is how a lot of us think of scouts, as doing service. And so this is a tremendous opportunity, and it's a big need. So I strongly recommend that we support it every bit we can. And I don't know, that's all I want to say. I'm going to turn the time back over to
Why don't you, we
Hey,
need to do the best.
when is scouting for food?
scouting for food.
We'll make an announcement on that when we get into our general
Yeah,
session.
it'll be right.
February 12th, but
It didn't get put on the chart.
Not done. We've got the best in snow coming up. Maybe I
Let me
can-
make one comment about the best in snow. This is a high adventure activity for the older boys, 14 and on up. And it's got some things in it that you won't see in a regular Klondike for the younger boys and girls. So things like range shooting, you're going to be shooting in the snow. There's going to be snowshoeing, and but they've got a lot of really good activities. If you have a venture crew, you really want to go to this. And
Well,
hopefully,
it's for the boys that are 14 and older in the Scouts, BSA too.
right, and for those older boys and girls too. Right. Okay.
Is it only for the Scouts 14 and older? I thought it was for any Scout registered in a troop.
Nope.
No, because some of the activities on the Guide to Safe Scouting, it has age appropriate activities. And some of the activities are only appropriate for the 14 and older youth. Yeah.
The Klondikes are open to all the Scouts.
Open to all.
BSA, but the best
Right.
in snow is a 14 and up only thing. I'm going to go ahead and get started here.
Yep.
Welcome everybody. We just hit the 100-person max. then my apologies to all those of you who can't hear me because you couldn't log in. Because we have hit our maximum of 100 people. So the first 100 people are the winners. And I guess we're going to learn an awfully important lesson about this going forward. I know last time we had over 140 people at one point, so that account must have had a greater limit, if any at all. And obviously we've just learned the hard way an important lesson. In any case, welcome to all of those who are here for our first council roundtable of 2022. I'm going to share my screen while I continue talking here. We'll see if I can walk and chew gum at the same time. My name is Doug Kosai. I am the District Commissioner of the Thurston Peak District. Our district is hosting this roundtable tonight. We're glad to have all of you here. I feel really bad about those that are trying to get in and can't. Wish there was something we could do to fix that. In any case, we're glad to have all of you here who could make it. Looks like somebody dropped. Now we're having people drop and then getting someone back on. So that's interesting. We just finished the Main Street portion of our roundtable leading up to this main session. So you're just seeing this screen for the first time. We're glad to have you all here, as I said. We're also glad to have with us tonight, in addition to myself from the Thurston Peak District, Dakota Jacobson, who's our district executive, Corey Hansen, who's our district chairman, and Dave Hatch, who is our roundtable commissioner. Dave will have a few things to say at certain points of this. We weren't sure he was going to be healthy enough to be here, so I practiced and got ready for this, but Dave's here tonight too, and we're grateful for that. From the council, I've been scrolling through the participants, trying to identify people from the council. I recognized Alan Karras's name. Alan is my boss. He's the council commissioner. And Alan, I got to tell you real quick, I was just on a meeting prior to this one with your brother Nolan on the Just Serve Council, and he says to tell you that he's the better looking of the two of you. So I told him I would let you know that, but it didn't come from me. Okay.
I understand exactly, but he is delusional at times.
In any case, we're glad to have you here tonight, Alan. I also know we have Annalise Smith, who is an assistant council commissioner. She's here not only to learn and participate and share, but also to help us with our recording of things tonight. And then, is there anybody else from the council tonight that I missed? Would love to recognize you if you're here.
I'm going to ask something of some of us. We have an awful lot of commissioners that are on, and I'm getting phone calls and so forth of people who are not able to get on. And I'm going to ask that the unit commissioners get offline so others can get on. I don't like saying that, but since we weren't prepared for to have more than 100 people, that's the best thing I can think we can do. I think we have a lot of people who are very interested in being in on this, and I'm getting a lot of text messages and stuff like that saying I can't get on, and so I'd like to give them that opportunity. So if you're a unit commissioner, ADC, or whatever, we just ask you to please drop off.
I think everybody understands what needs to be done. Please do it. It's an unfortunate but appreciated gesture if the commissioners will get off. Let's move forward.
This is Rich Evans. I'm an assistant council commissioner, and I'm dropping off. I want to make room for other folks.
Thank you, Rich.
Good night, everybody.
Here. Thank you. Okay, let's continue to move forward here. The agenda tonight is as follows. We're going to have an opening prayer by Stuart Cannon, one of our unit commissioners. if he hasn't dropped off. And then we'll have an opening ceremony followed by some announcements and a safety moment. Then we will get into our breakouts, which is why you're all here in the first place. And at about just a few minutes before 8, we will have a commissioner's minute by yours truly, and then we'll move into a Cracker Barrel where we can all chat and talk and share some additional information. Stuart, if you're there, would you go ahead and please offer our invocation?
Thank you. Our eternal loving Father in heaven, as we bow our heads humbly, as we gather as this brotherhood of scouts tonight from across the whole of Utah, we're grateful for the positions of scouting that we hold. We're grateful for the young men and young women that we represent. And we pray that tonight, as we share our testimony of scouting, of the wonderful program that our founder, Baden Powell, brought to the earth through our Savior. And we're grateful for his insight into bringing this great program on the earth. We're grateful for those who sacrifice their time and talents for the youth that they represent. And we ask a blessing upon all of us tonight, that will go away from our meeting tonight, that will be able to grab some piece of information that will be beneficial for those that we represent. Again, Father, give us safety through this COVID experience, that will be safe in our homes and our families too. We're grateful for all the blessings that have been poured upon us. And we say these things now humbly and in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate that. Okay, for our opening ceremony this evening, I've got a little video to play here that's going to guide us through it. So at the appropriate time, if I can find my mouse, at the appropriate time, please stand and make the appropriate gesture, either a salute or bring your arm to the square and do as directed. I don't know where these little scribbles are coming from. I hope I didn't do that. Okay, here we go.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Dave is now going to lead us in the outdoor code.
Okay. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
Thank you, Dave. The outdoor code is something we don't often recite. It's an easy thing to overlook, but it's important. Well, thank you. Okay, a few announcements here. Some of these things we've already talked about briefly. The Best in Snow event, as we mentioned earlier, is a program that is for scouts ages 14 and older, venture scouts, as well as regular BSA scouts who are 14 and up. That's at Camp Tracy, and you can get more information on that on the council website. For those that are in the Thurston Peak District, we have a Klondike coming up on February 4th through the 6th at Camp Tracy. I'm sure other districts are having similar events, as was mentioned, either in January or February. We also have our awards dinner for our district on that Saturday evening at 5 p.m. We'd love to have you register and come to both of those events. We're looking forward to it. It'll be fun. Scouting for Food, as we mentioned, is on February 12th. We are working diligently to get assignments out to units to participate in that. I'm sure other districts are ahead of me on this. I'm working on this with our District Chair Corey Hansen. I've just about got the assignments ready to be sent out, and hopefully we'll be doing that in the next week or so. We're trying to get every unit involved, and we'd love to do that. February 13th is Scout Sunday, in case you've forgotten what that is. It's a great opportunity to make yourself visible to those in your congregation, if they allow such a thing. February 16th is a jerky information meeting at the council. And that's probably a term that could only mean anything and not sound goofy to Scouters. So the jerky information meeting, February 16th at 6:30. And then there are 2 Trainers Edge programs going on, one on February 26th, another one on March 26th, a month later, on Saturdays, 9 a.m. The first one is at the Ogden Service Center. The second one is the Orem Service Center. So hopefully you can make one of those. I think great opportunities to get some training on training. A couple other things that are going on that I'll get into here in a second, but I want you to be aware that if you go to the council calendar, you can get information, more information on all those events and many more that are maybe of interest to you. Okay, scouting for food. Let me just mention a couple more things there. We're going to be heavily involved in that on February 12th with the Smith's food stores throughout the state. But we will also be getting participation from Bank of Utah and other organizations like Red Hanger, Arctic Circle, Young Automotive is involved, and some of those are going to require help from the Scouts. And there'll be more information available on how that's to be done as we make those assignments that I mentioned a minute ago. And you'll be able to find more information about this event at the website that's shown in the link there. And these slides will get sent out, so you'll be able to have all those links. Some of that support, as I said, for places like Bank of Utah, Arctic Circle, and Red Hanger will be actually throughout a period of about 3 weeks from the end of January to the middle of February. Is Michael Williams on? Was he one of the lucky ones that could get in as one of the 100 people? If so, I want to give him a minute on the Jamboree, the World Jamboree.
Yep. I am here.
Good.
And
glad you made it.
Just wanted to get everyone, aware that this is coming up a year from August. But for the adult leaders, the deadline to apply to be either a Scoutmaster or Assistant Scoutmaster of a unit is a week from Saturday, midnight Central Time. Go to the WSJ2023.us. There's lots of info on there for both adults and youth. If you haven't been to a World Jamboree, it's an amazing experience. This one will be awesome as well. And I know we've got lots more to talk about, so I'll leave it at that.
Michael, I have a quick question for you on that.
Yep.
Since this deadline for unit leader enrollment is only a week and a half away, and it's a year and a half before the actual event, would it be better for people to submit their name as a leader and then pull out later rather than miss the deadline and never get a chance to apply?
Yeah, if you have any interest whatsoever, I'd say apply. Keep in mind that that's just for the unit leaders. There is still an opportunity to go to the Jamboree as an adult on the International Service Team as an IST. There's about 200 positions, I believe, allocated to the BSA for that. So there's always that option as well.
Okay, great. And we'll have more time to talk about this probably during Cracker Barrel. But note that this is in South Korea. So if you want to go to Korea, this is your chance. Thanks, Michael.
Hey, Doug, we just need to give out a reminder to those that come on a little bit later. If in the chat session, if you'll put your name, your unit number, and your position, we'd appreciate that. We're tracking those records in all of the districts, so this will get sent out to all the districts for your attendance.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that, Dave, that reminder. Just a quick word about something that was just brought to our attention recently. They are rolling back the requirements that were changed and modified on COVID for certain activities for rank advancement and the camping merit badge. They're going back to the old requirements effective this coming March 1st. If you have any questions about that, you can look at this website here that's in this page, this slide. So the COVID relaxations that were put into place are being done away with on March 1st, and they're going back to the original requirements. Okay, we have a quick safety moment. Dave, do you want to take just a minute here and talk about this, and we'll have more information that we can provide later on as well?
Since we're doing the Klondike in February, it is very cold. And hypothermia is one of the highest risk things that we do in the outdoors. It's one of the highest risk things that we can get in the outdoors. And we can lower the risk significantly by being prepared. And I've listed some helps there, such as the Scout book, the Scout Field book, also the Hypothermia Safety moment that is found has quite a bit of information also for other locations. So we'll talk more about this during our Cracker Barrel and answer people's questions during that time.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Okay, we are only a couple of minutes behind schedule here on getting started with our program-specific breakouts. We're going to have 3 breakouts, one for the Cub Scouts, one for Scouts BSA, and another combined one for unit administration and venturing. Unit administration would encompass committee members, committee chairs, people like that. I see a hand raised by Dave's iPhone. Dave, can go ahead and ask your question.
Well, it's more of a comment about, you had mentioned national going to the Jamboree, but I wanted to point out that there is also a national wood badge course that actually still has a couple of spaces available. It's being held at Summit Bechtel Reserve. It starts on the 16th and goes to the 21st. It is, like I say, it still has a couple of spaces available. I put some information in the notes. So if anybody wants to go, has the opportunity to go, I highly recommend it. You'll be taught by national representatives on a linked course wood badge, which separates the girls and boys just kind of like what we do now.
That's great, Dave. Thank you very much for that. We're going to proceed with our breakouts, but I can't get away without having one little joke to tell before we go into our breakouts. And I'm assuming we'll all get to choose our own breakout that we go to. But I got to ask you this. Did you hear about what happened to the guy who got caught shoplifting a calendar on New Year's Eve? He got 12 months. So with that, I will let you go to your own breakout, and we'll see you again at about 5 minutes to 8. Enjoy your breakout.
All right. How is everyone tonight? Well, we've got 23. This is kind of a record. So I'm pretty excited about having everybody here tonight. So my name is John Jensen. I am a roundtable commissioner for unit administration. We've been doing this breakout session for just about a year. And really what it's about is it's for committee members and talking about the roles of the committee and those kind of things. I've taught it for the last year. This is actually my swan song. I'm going to be turning the reins over to somebody else to move forward. So I hope I do well. I hope I don't disappoint this evening. I've got my trusty friend Steve Parker. He's going to help us out here tonight. I kind of, Steve and I kind of talked and prepared for this. We really just kind of talked about, we want to present some information. We want to have some good discussion regarding the action plan that we're going to discuss tonight. And I will do my best to look at the chat if you guys have questions. But at any time, please feel free to jump in. So I'm going to see here now. Give me just one moment. I guess any other announcements or anything before we jump into the actual presentation here tonight?
No, I think we're ready to roll.
Okay. It has been a while since I've been in a Zoom meeting, so I am going to try to share this.
Right.
Just 1 second here. I'm gonna hit my F5 key, see if that works. All right, can everybody see the PowerPoint?
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. So tonight we've been asked. Well, let me back up here. For all of us that have sat in boards of review, what's one of the questions we asked our scouts is, what is a scout motto? And what is that?
Be prepared.
Be prepared. Okay. The adventure plan is the way that we're prepared. Oh, let me ask you this, just by by voice, how many people have actually heard of the action plan?
Yes, me.
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting a couple yeses. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of it too much until I was asked to teach on or to prepare and facilitate this discussion. And it's actually a really good thing. And it's going to help us to be prepared. We've got a Klondike coming up. Hopefully some of the things that we discussed tonight have already been done in units that are preparing to go to Klondike. For units that are going to go to the Best in Snow event, could be the same thing. But Steve and I were going to talk with you about the adventure plan. But before we get there, Steve, you're up.
Yes. Okay, so please share a positive experience you have recently had in scouting. So this is what I want to ask. If somebody had a recent experience that was extremely positive working with scouts. And if you don't come up with something, I've got about 100 and I can go through each one of them.
I'll do one.
Okay, go right ahead.
All right. So I'm the Eagle coordinator for the district on the Council Advancement Committee. I get to do all the Eagle boards for the whole council, or for the whole district in Thurston Peak District. And on December 15th, we had Eagle boards for 4 young ladies.
Excellent.
So there are, including those 4, there are only 25 female Eagles so far in the council. So we had nearly 20% of them in one night.
Is that from 27G?
2 from 27 and 2 from 1896 up in Clearfield.
That is awesome.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
We had up here in Old Ephraim, the first Lady Eagle was from our crew 11. And it was just such a wonderful evening awarding her her Eagle in her court of honor. We had the girls troop do the flag ceremony. And for a lot of people, that was really an inspiration to see what young women can do in scouting. This particular young lady also has her Summit Award, the highest in venturing, and has completed her Eagle with a palm. We are so proud of her and of the, she is not in the young ladies troop. We just happened to invite them so that people could see that we do have girl scouts, supposed to Girl Scouts, in our district. So that was a really positive, fun evening with that young woman.
That is so awesome.
Okay, I think
Can I share another one?
You bet, Rusty.
We had a young lady who earned her Eagle in our girls troop, 1776 girls. And she was permitted to leave the MTC to receive it at her court of honor. And there she was in her full MTC garb, but she managed to dress in olive green and had her sister missionary tag on, and the next day left for her mission in Oregon. It was a wonderful experience.
That's fantastic. That is great. Well, there are many positive activities and experiences that we have with scouting. The thing that impresses me the most is watching how the scouting program changes the lives of young people. And I always think of the mission statement in scouting, that we are preparing young people to make ethical and moral decisions throughout their lives by teaching them the principles of the Scout Oath and law. And I'm sorry I didn't quote it perfectly, but that's the gist of it. And they do change. And as we change lives, we want to present them with activities that challenge them, that make them better people, and keep them safe. And so that's what TAPS is all about. I'm going to turn it back to you, John.
All right. Thank you, Steve. And Christian, Richard, and Rusty, thank you so much for sharing. I think that it's important because usually we're focusing on our troop or our pack or our crew, and we're just involved with that, and we don't always get to rub shoulders with other units, and it's good to see what's happening out there and to share the positive in scouting. I know this week there was some information in the news that wasn't great for BSA, but that's in Irving, Texas. We're helping these young people accomplish great things. So thank you for participating. So let's see if I can get my screen to advance. Okay, can I get a volunteer to read that first bullet point, please?
Okay.
Go ahead,
The Adventure
Rob.
Plan TAP provides a one-stop set of tools to help adult and youth leaders envision, plan, prepare, and conduct safe, exciting, and successful outdoor adventures.
Okay, thank you. Who remembers the days of the tour permit, the actual paper form that we used to have to fill out? Why did we fill that form out, Christian?
To this day, I have no idea.
Insurance.
Insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liability. I would call it a cover your butt.
Right.
But what kind of things were on that form for those that can remember that? What kind of information did you have to put there?
To put the
Who,
leaders,
what, where,
the
when,
cause,
how.
Yep.
Yeah, leaders information, when, where, how.
insurance,
Insurance coverage.
Yep.
Was it 100,000, 300,000, 100 per event, or was it
Yep.
higher than that? So there are some similarities to that old tour permit and the action plan. And what I've done here is you can use this link. I'm pretty sure that this spreadsheet, or I'm sorry, this slide deck will be sent out, but all you have to do is type in TAP for the action plan in scouting, and it's going to take you there. Now, we're going to get into kind of what that is. And I need to just ask a quick question. Steve, are we done here at 8 o'clock, or when is our stop time? Do you know?
Yeah, we're done about 2 or 3 minutes before 8.
Okay, so we're good. So what we're going to do is kind of go over the action plan and the steps briefly, but I wanted to have more of a discussion plan. Now, you get a virtual kudo if you can. Well, actually, I'm going to save that. Steve, let's get to the next slide.
Okay.
And go for that.
Okay, the action plan, the activity plan is divided into 4 phases. And this gives you a kind of a way to look at the organization of the plan. And so you're going to concentrate before you go on the adventure on the first 2 steps. And then as you're on the adventure, there are some things you have to be careful to address. And after the adventure, you have to capture what made it a good experience or what needs to change. And so all this is important. And if you look at the structure, I don't know if how many of you are actually pilots or have your pilot's license, but a pilot, before you take off in that airplane, you have a pre-flight checklist. And you better go through that checklist if you're going to fly that airplane, and it better pass. Well, this is kind of what we're doing for these activities. And so John's now going to take us through, I think, the first one on that.
Well, we're going to go through that. So here's my question. Now, right. I'll give you a high five if you can answer this. So there's 4 phases. How many steps are there in the action plan? Does anybody know right off the top of their head?
Call me. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to call on you, Steve.
Darn.
Anybody have a guess?
$48.
Close. I'll get one more guess. Who can give me a guess?
$45.
You're going the wrong direction.
Yeah, a little higher.
So here's the thing. You'll notice on the current slide 52. In the bottom right, huh?
52. I heard it.
52.
The correct answer. Way to go. Yeah, double
high five. Now we intentionally are presenting to you with a smaller number, the 4 phases. And then we have our disclaimer that says, not all of the steps outlined in TAP will apply to your unit's adventure. Okay. Right. So whether you're going down to the bowling alley with your scouts, you're going to use a certain set of them. We had our international brother that was on here, Michael Williams. He's headed over to South Korea. I'm pretty sure he's going to use the majority of these steps here. So here's what I want you to have is this open mind of kind of just understanding that there are quite a few steps, and it's good to be familiar with what they are, because you will need them at different points. And so, Steve, why don't you jump in with the adventure selection section?
Okay. You know, a lot of these steps just make common sense, you know, and a lot of you, if you've been doing scouting for some time, you're using these steps, don't you? So first of all, you're going to have some way to get information about where you're going. So your step 1, where are the website reference? How can you get that information? Leader training requirements. Are your leaders trained? This is an important one. And this ties in with insurance, because if you have a problem, you know, a lot of you were probably had troops during when the LDS Church was involved, and the LDS Church provided insurance to cover your activities in scouting. And the scouting organization does too, but now you don't have, a lot of you don't have the sponsoring organization's insurance. So if you have an accident and the leaders are not trained, it's going to cause problems. and you don't want to go there. So if you just go down through, and I'm not going to talk about all of these, but if you drill down, you need to cover a lot of these when you go on, for example, of Klondike. And don't forget the importance of the step 16, which is a parents meeting. And why is that important? I mean, you all know that.
Yeah. So it's, you know, making sure that your parents know what's going on. And a lot of these things, they really break them out. And that's why there's so many. But a lot of time when you're meeting with your scouts or with your crew, you can really kind of figure out, okay, when and where are we going to go? How are we going to get there? And so that's kind of the pre. When you get to this next slide, if you need to get your readers on to read because it's such small print, join the club. But I don't find it's a coincidence at all that the preparation step has the most steps, or the what have you. And so just kind of take a look at that. But we're talking about, you know, getting commitments and timetables and rosters and maps and budget and physical conditioning and health forms and vehicles, and making sure that they're safe, making sure you have all the equipment, preparing menus, cash advances. All of, you know, going through these stages are going to help you have a more successful unit activity. And where we're kind of leading with all this in just a minute are the questions is, okay, great, we have all these steps, who's responsible for that? And we're not going to quite answer that just yet, but there's quite a few steps here. So 17 through 45 is in the preparation step. And then Steve, go for it.
Yeah, I want to mention one thing on one of the previous steps, which was 43, and that's the shakedown. And that's where you really go through and check and see if the boys or girls are really prepared. And you want to do that before you go on the Klondike. Okay, now go to the next.
You bet.
Okay, so this is during the adventure. And if you drill down in these, it'll tell you things that you really need to keep track of while you're going en route to the destination and at the destination you're going to. And things that you need to keep track of with your crew or with your troop, and records that you really should keep, and make a journal. And, you know, I've been in scouting, I can't remember how many years because I don't have that long of memory, but a long time. And I wish I would have kept a better record of some of the camps I went on, because I can't remember exactly which boys went with me to that camp. And, you know, don't lose the information. Keep records. Yeah. Okay.
You bet. And then that fourth section is after the adventure. Okay. So again, kind of look at, okay, did you come in on budget? No. Yes. How does that work? Kind of the final report. And then one of the most important things is, if during your adventure, whatever it was, there needs to be some youth recognition, make sure you do that as quickly as you can. So whether it's a 50-miler, whether it's merit badges, whether it's different things, you want to be able to reward our young people to realize, hey, they did something, they planned something, they did something fun, hopefully something challenging. And out of that, they have some sort of token or something to show what they did. Okay, so those are the 4 sections. Those are the 52 steps. And here's what I'd like to do. So it looks like we've got just under 15 minutes. And so I'm gonna, there's a lot of questions here that we'll kind of go through. And I guess the first one, the big one on the left-hand side is, what is the committee's role? Whether you're a pack or whether you're a troop or a crew or, you know, those kind of, or even in the OA. I'd like to have somebody or one or two people offer their thoughts of what role does the committee play in the TAP within a unit?
You know, John, could I just say one thing? I hate to butt in, but when I was a committee chairman, and when we would be planning our big activity in the summer, I would really appreciate it when the boy leader of that troop would come to the committee and would present the plan to the committee.
Yep.
And I would ask him specific questions, and he knew the questions I was going to ask him. And that was, how do your activities, how do they relate to the Guide to Safe Scouting?
Okay.
How do we know that we're going to be safe? And have the boy tell me. And, you know, it was really a neat experience because you could see that they had done their homework. And so just the thought.
No, I appreciate that. And hopefully, as Steve was sharing those experiences, you've been able to look at our, I'm going to call them the blaze orange arrows. Point of personal privilege, I'm a varsity scouter.
Yes.
So I had to throw some orange in here, even though we don't have varsity anymore. But as you look at the questions, here's what the questions I really want to have our roundtable discussion about here tonight is, well, who ensures that TAP's being used within the unit? Is TAP being used? Okay. How did your committee or your troop leadership learn about TAP? Has anybody had a positive experience? And then also, what steps within the TAP plan has your unit struggled with, or do you anticipate? Okay. And maybe another way that I can ask the question on the left is, what is everybody's responsibility within the TAP, or within the unit regarding the action plan? So does anybody have anything they'd like to share or thoughts on one of the questions that have been asked here this evening? Oh, sorry.
I had some thoughts on the committee's role in TAP.
Okay, and let me get up here. Who is speaking, please?
Corey Russell.
Okay, great. Go for it.
So I was, you know, one of the things that we have in committees is we have all these different positions, and the purpose of that is to basically delegate, divide and conquer, to be able to have different people in charge of different pieces, parts, so not one person carries the weight of any one adventure. And so the idea is, you know, you have an equipment coordinator, you have the people who are planning the campouts, you have people who are over advancement, that are keeping track of what awards or what rank things, what merit badge things, you know, what's being accomplished. So by everyone doing their own part and kind of dividing and conquering, many hands make light work, and you kind of split the steps up based on your responsibility within the committee.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, divide and conquer. How many people does it take to run a unit? You know what I mean? It's you got your leader, so there's certain things. So like Steve said, so some things it's the boys' responsibility. A lot of those boys, or I'm sorry, back up. It's the youth's responsibility.
Right.
Okay. The whole. Okay, where do you want to go? What's your activity? What's your plan? What's your 6-month? What's your 12-month plan? So you've got youth that have certain parts.
Right.
And then you've got their great adult leaders. But then what is the purpose of the committee? Who can give me a quick, short sense of what the whole purpose of the committee is? It doesn't matter what unit, what type of unit you're involved in.
As a former Scoutmaster,
Yep.
John,
Yeah.
this is Phil Roth.
Okay.
Ideally, the committee's role is to support the leaders,
Yep.
the scout leaders, right? And you want to try and take as much much of a load off of them as possible so that they can use their resources, their time and their energy to interact with the young men or the young women and to help them as they're going along, instead of having to worry about paperwork or what did the tour permit, you know, the plan get filled out, all of that type of stuff. So ideally, the committee would take the bulk of the role or the lead in making sure a lot of this is done for them, so they don't have to use their time and energy on it.
That's it, Phil. And I've narrowed it down to even that. It's to make your unit leader's life easier.
Yeah.
Story.
Exactly.
Because they're spending the time with the youth and all those kind of things. And so really the committee, and then as Corey pointed out, it's divide and conquer. And it's helping everybody know what is your role. Now, again, as we said, out of the 4 phases and the 52 steps, okay, if you're doing something simple, you're taking a hike. Okay, you're not going to use all 52. But the committee can help making sure there's permission slips or there's email communication or those kind of things, so the scoutmaster doesn't have to do it. So let me ask a question, and let me ask it this way. Are there any units that are on the call right now that actually have used the adventure, the action plan for an activity?
So sorry, this is just your 5-minute warning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you, Dakota.
Yeah, this is Rob Klein.
Okay.
We used it when we did a high adventure sea base this summer.
Oh, cool.
And in preparation for that, now they had their guidelines and things that, you know, were very significant in helping us collect some of the information we needed for each of those steps. But you know, we budgeted it. We looked at what we wanted to do and how we were going to get there, what events we were going to do when we got there, and as well as planning ahead, you know, the medical and the shots and all and then with COVID, you know, that's always an extra adder. So it was very, very useful.
Okay, good. Do we have any other examples or any other unit that's used it?
Just a brief comment.
Okay.
Our crew president, a young woman, Sharp, is very insistent and reminds me that the Venturing is a youth-run organization.
Yep.
And she'll pick up on something like what we're talking about, and she'll come into a meeting and she'll look at me and she says, I hope you don't mind if I briefly touch upon all 52 of the points that we need to look at regarding our intended trip to Philmont in 2 years. I said, go for it. And I sat back and she ran through that, kept their attention. It's a youth run program, and here's a youth who did a super job for us, along with the program that you're discussing.
Oh, great. Hey, so when are you going to Philmont?
Actually, we canceled the one for this summer. We have to reapply. You have to reapply like 18 months in advance, something like that. So I'm hoping, of course, by the time we do, we're going to have a whole new crop of some of our Boy Scouts or Scouts BSA will be in the crew by that time.
Oh,
so I don't have a date.
Yeah, we just found out that our troop, we're going in the end of July of 2023.
Super.
So we're pretty excited about that.
Super. We might see you on the trail.
Yeah.
Well, good. Okay, so I know that we're running at a time here. So I guess the questions that I would have is, if you're using the TAP method, awesome. If you're not using it, that's okay. If it's new to you, that's why we have these roundtables and these sessions where we can talk about it and introduce it. I guess I'm going to throw a couple challenges out to you who are in a committee position. And it doesn't matter what role you play on the committee, whether you're a chair or whether you're the finance guy or the one that sends the email out to the parents. If you're hearing what we're saying tonight, I'm going to challenge you to go back to your committee and talk with them about TAP and decide what day you're going to start using TAP. And hopefully it's the night that you have the discussion. Okay, so that's the first thing, is making the commitment to use it and learning about it. Second challenge I'm going to have to you is then making sure if your unit leader is not at that meeting, that he or she is involved and that you spend some time using the TAP for any activities that you're having this coming year. Because what'll happen is that'll help you. And I'm gonna make some assumptions here. Most folks that are still involved in scouting at this point, it's because they want to and they understand a lot of the importance of everything that was discussed. But those are the two biggest things I want you to take away in those challenges, which are to discuss when you're going to start using it and make sure that your unit leader is involved. And that way, hopefully your activities are better planned, that you have a great time, you mitigate risk, you plan accordingly. And that way it's a great adventure for everybody involved. So I appreciate everybody's contributions. Thank you for what you do for scouting. We live in this time in this world that it's needed now more than ever. And I hope that this program can continue, that we can influence the lives of our young people. Steve, I'll throw it out to you for last words.
Well, we just want to thank you for coming, and really, this, if you use TAP, which I hope you do, it will help organize you, and you won't overlook something. And if you think of it as a pre-flight checklist, just make sure you don't have to use every step, but you ought to look at every step, decide which ones are important, right? Thanks for coming. We'll get back to the main session and then go into Cracker Barrel.
You bet. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you in a bit.
Right.
Now, so I guess it's official.
Thanks, John.
Welcome back, everyone, to the main session of our roundtable. As we're waiting for everybody to gather back, let me just say it's great to be a part of this council-wide roundtable, where we're represented, I suspect, by virtually every district in the council. It's great to have you all here. There's a lot of names in the participant list that I don't recognize, so I take that as a sign that we do have good participation from other places. And again, apologies to our friends who couldn't make it onto the session because of our previously unknown limit of 100 people in the meeting. We're going to have just a quick commissioner's minute by yours truly here. Before we do that, I can't resist. I got to tell one more joke. And the question is, does anybody know what is a cow's favorite holiday? Nobody wants to take a shot. Well, it's New Year's Day.
I know that cows are utterly tickled when they go through the grass.
Yeah, that's true. They are.
Oh.
So since we're on the farm subject, what is corn's favorite holiday?
Halloween.
New Year's Day. Sorry, New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
You're still milking it, Doug.
Man.
That was very moving. Thank you for sharing that.
And so what is a pun spelled backwards? What is a pun spelled backwards? It's not that hard. Nup. That's a nup out of you. There we go. Okay, enough of that. So as we move into the new year, and our units are all working hard at planning out their new year and what they're going to do and so forth, and we realize that there's probably more things that they want to do than they'll have time for, we learn once again the lesson that managing our time is very important and being cognizant of how to use our time wisely. So I want to share just a short minute here in my commissioner's minute on the subject of time. So I want you to imagine that you've got a bank account. And that bank account receives a deposit every morning. It receives a deposit of $86,400 every morning. Every morning you have $86,400 to spend. At the end of the day, whatever money is left in that account gets taken out of the account. If you leave any money, it's wiped out of the account, cleaned out. And then the next morning you start over with $86,400. If you had such an account, what would you do with it? My guess is you'd work really hard to spend that money every day. And hopefully you'd try to spend it wisely. Well, we actually do have an account like that. It's called time. Every morning we are credited 86,400 seconds to our account, to our time account. We have those 86,400 seconds to spend as we like. We can choose to spend them. We can choose to waste them. Every night, our time account is cleared out. Whatever seconds of time we haven't spent, they're just gone. And the next morning we start over. We can't carry over those seconds. We can't take time that we didn't use today and carry it over to tomorrow. We can't borrow future seconds from days that we haven't had yet. Every day it's a use them or lose them proposition. So how valuable is that time? To understand the value of those seconds and that time, consider this. How valuable is 1 year? Ask a student who failed a grade and got held back. How valuable is 1 week? Ask a farmer right after an early frost. How valuable is 1 day? Ask the editor of a newspaper. How valuable is 1 hour? Ask the mother who's waiting for her son's plane to land. How valuable is 1 minute? Ask a person who missed a train. How valuable is 1 second? Ask a person who just avoided an accident. How valuable is 1 millisecond? Ask the person who won the silver medal at the Olympics. You have to live in the present on today's deposit of time. Invest it to get from it the utmost in health, happiness, and success. The clock is running. Make the most of today. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Into the Cracker Barrel portion of our meeting. It's optional. You don't have to stick around if you don't want to. But it's also a great opportunity to rub shoulders with old friends, to make new friends, to learn a few things, because we'll ask questions of each other and ask for more information about maybe some things that were discussed earlier in the meeting. But it's an open forum, and hopefully, since we couldn't provide refreshments, you brought your own. I have mine, my dried apricots here. Just the time is now yours. I'm going to mute myself and won't unmute myself unless somebody asks me to. What would you like to talk about?
One of the things that I think we need to talk about is we've got the Klondike Derby, and on Saturday night at 5 o'clock, we have our awards banquet. And we need to make sure everybody gets.
Now, this is specific to the Thurston Peak District, just so those of you who don't know what we're talking about, don't understand it.
Thanks for
Thurston Peak.
Taking that out. But anyways, well, actually, anybody that would like to come is more than welcome. And if you sign up, hey, Dakota, you out there still?
Yeah, I'm going to put the link in the chat.
Okay, so you're gonna put the link in the chat. If you click on that, you'll save $4. It's at 5 o'clock at Camp Tracy.
It's for a week, and so all of you that know, we're actually going to be heading that up, and the goal is to recognize all Scouters. So whether you've been there for a year, I believe we have somebody that's got 70 years that we'll be recognizing, and so we'll also be presenting District Board of Merits. But again, the other thing we're trying to do is, because of COVID, there was a lot of the Eagles that didn't really get either a worthy presentation or the acknowledgement of their achievement. And so we're inviting all of the Eagles and their parents to come as well. So we're expecting about 150, 200-ish, I think, Dakota. You can correct me on that. But again, we'd love to have everybody submit their Veterans Awards so we can recognize you and get those done properly, as well as some other fun awards. So it's definitely something that's going to be fun. We'll have a great dinner. We'll be there at the Tracy Lodge and go from there. So if you have any questions or concerns, want to do any awards nominations, just let me know. But we already have selected the District Board of Merits for the Thurston Peak, and we'll present those there. So everybody will want to come to see who's actually getting that.
So,
David, did you sign me and Bill up, or do we got to still do it?
say that again.
Did you sign Bill and I up, or do we still have to do that?
No, you still need to do that yourselves.
Okay. All right, we'll do it.
Yeah. Did I tell you I was going to sign you up?
Yeah,
Ready
you
for your
did.
bill?
Yeah, you did. But that's okay. We'll do it. No problem.
Yeah, you don't know.
I know,
Doug, you
you
gotta
can
watch me closely when I'm on those meds, my GAD-free. Maybe I ran up quite an account. I don't know.
Somebody's asking a question in the chat about any updates on Citizenship and Society Merit Badge. I know there was an announcement made not too long ago about that merit badge becoming effective, and my recollection is it's now available to be earned, and it's optional, but starting, I think, on July 1st, if I remember correctly, it will become a required merit badge.
Yeah.
There are also special requirements that have to be met, training for anybody that wants to be a merit badge counselor for that merit badge, and that information would all be available from the council. Anybody have anything else they can add to that on that merit badge?
Kristen Wang, you raised your hand.
Yes, I'm on the advancement committee. The advancement committee is the one working on setting the guidelines for the merit badge counselors on that. For the people that have applied, they are very slowly going through and interviewing the individuals to make sure that they meet the criteria they're looking for. There is a 30-minute training that BSA has on their website that I recommend you take before you get any further with it, to make sure that you're in the right range there. So
yes, if you've applied, they are getting to it, but very slowly. I applied on December 6th and they're not there yet. So.
And Michael Williams has just posted something into the chat with a link on that merit badge. So you can follow that to get more information as well. I think it's a really exciting merit badge.
Yeah, it is. Someone might have mentioned, but it's really important for those who are working on Eagle projects that I believe it's June 1st, but I'm not sure of the exact date. Maybe our committee member could clarify that. But it will become a requirement very soon, within the next couple of months.
July 1.
If they have completed all of their required merit badges, this one will be an added requirement before they can complete their Eagle Board of Review.
Yes,
so if they don't apply for their board of review by July 1st, or do they have to have the board of review?
The board of review needs to take place on June 30 or earlier. Any boards of review after July 1 have to have that merit badge.
Right. Good. Thank you.
Sound like merit badge.
You're right, Doug, in what you were saying as far as I am like with Kristen, I sit on the advancement committee for the council. The thing that's important with this is that, yes, we can, once they've been assigned, they go through James, who's the merit badge counselor for the council. And once the process is done and they can start going ahead and learning the merit badge, it cannot be awarded until July 1.
No, it can be awarded as soon as it's earned.
That's not what I understood.
No, it becomes a required merit badge at that point in
On the
time.
first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prior to that time, it's just an elective.
And we currently don't have any registered merit badge counselors for that merit badge.
Correct.
There is still no registered merit badge counselors to pass that one off, so no one can earn it currently.
Correct. That's correct. The council needs to take action. Yes.
Yes.
I have a scout who's turning 18 soon and is very concerned. He really wants to earn it. Any update I can give him, or just tell him?
We're all pushing for it.
Yeah, until we actually hear from Polani, who's the advancement chair, that there are merit badge counselors in place, then we can go that route.
But can I tell him next month, the month after?
We don't know
that.
I
Okay,
applied for
so-
it in November and still, I was given kind of a conditional item on one person and that was it. So.
Yeah.
The person heading the approval of the counselors, I spoke with her 2 days ago. She's been very, very ill.
She has.
She's trying.
Oh, yeah.
If you can find a counselor in another council, can you use them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to recommend, is that there's a
Yes.
lot of virtual merit badge opportunities that other counselors and other councils are offering that merit badge.
There were a bunch in Phoenix too, as well, that I saw.
Yeah, just know that this merit badge is specifically being pushed that you do not do large group training on it, that it should be 3 to 5 youth at a time.
Exactly.
Is there any exception for the has to be done before 18 because of the way we're going about it? Or if he
No,
turns 18, that's that?
If he turns 18, it's over.
Okay,
It's just like any other new merit badge that comes out.
yeah, I'll let him know.
Might want to convince him to go ahead and complete all his merit badges and get done with his Eagle. And then he can earn a silver, whatever they are. For
Oh,
the,
he's completed his Eagle. He's trying to, and I think succeeding in earning every single merit badge, and wanted to add that one to it.
he can still, well, can, I guess after he's 18, he won't be able to. So that
Right.
might be
He
one.
was concerned about that.
When's his birthday?
When's his birthday?
This month.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Definitely check with the, like they mentioned, definitely check with merit badge counselors in other councils, or online, like Facebook groups there's a lot of Facebook groups dedicated to merit badge counselors who are willing to do Zooms, just like we're doing here with Scouts anywhere in the country, to be able to earn that. And so there are merit badge counselors that are putting that in Scout Book right now.
Hey, a question for Christian and Julie.
Yeah.
In our meetings with Polani, if they go outside for the merit badge in itself, do they not have to have a letter from the council
No,
with that?
blue card is a blue card.
Okay. It would be similar if they went to a camp out of council. Okay, Yeah. gotcha.
We'll put that in our notes. We'll see if we can find some councils out there. Todd, sounds like you're pretty familiar with the couple councils that have those, and where'd she go? Anyways, Corey, Russell, on you, if you wouldn't mind sending us a note if you're aware of some other councils that have done that, then we'll put that in our notes, so that'll be part of so that we can get a reference to them.
If you go onto Scout Book and do merit badge counselors, you can do stop merit badge and go on and say any distance and it'll show you. But I would just make sure that they are using a registered merit badge counselor. If it is outside of our council, just make sure that that person is registered in their current council.
Okay.
There are
Yeah,
also
for-
some wonderful scouting groups on Facebook. You can go in and ask if anybody is a certified merit badge counselor.
Okay.
There is a council advancement meeting next Monday, and maybe this can be addressed to get it pushed forward and get the approved counselors.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah,
Push Steve.
that's what I was thinking, that Steve could step in. He's the co-chair, assistant chair, whatever it is. So Larry and Christian, if you can make that meeting, maybe we can get that to happen.
Yeah,
I'm on it.
I know I'm out next Monday. So.
Okay. Yeah, I will be there.
Great questions, though.
Yeah. There is another new merit badge out there as well. It's called Healthcare Professions Merit Badge. It is the rebranding of Medicine Merit Badge. If you have youth who have earned medicine, they can earn this one as well. It is, however, the same patch. So you will have youth that could potentially have two of the same badge on their sash.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
And it's already available. And I'm speaking off the cuff on this, but I believe if you are a counselor for medicine, they probably will transition that over to be a counselor for the other.
Do we have any questions on the Best in the Snow coming up here real soon? Let me see if I can share my, that's not there right there. Just a minute.
Dave, I have a question.
Go
If
for it.
if there's a scout troop that has youth that are under 14, are they still permitted to go?
No.
Okay.
And it's the reason for it is because of the activities they're doing are for 14 and older boys and girls too, for youth 14 and older. And so they wouldn't be able to participate in those activities. And so I guess they could go if they don't mind sitting back and watching the other scouts or other ventures do the activity.
So they could participate in the Klondike, but nothing that requires a 14 and over age.
Yeah, they're going to be, one of the things they're doing is shooting, and the picture I saw that I have on my, if I could figure out how to show it, but anyways, pull up on the screen. It shows a young man shooting a 45. So
let's just be clear. We are talking.
That's not allowed for anybody younger.
Yeah. Let's be clear. We're talking about the Best in Snow event, which is
That's right.
specifically for.
We're not talking about
ages
Klondike.
14 and up and venturing scouts. The Klondikes are available for all scouts, BSA scouts.
So the Best in
we see your screen, Dave.
Yeah, we can see.
We see your Gmail.
I know. You guys don't want to see that. It's a mess. You figure out how you can pull this up.
When is the Best in Snow event?
That's what I was going to pull. I know.
January 14th to the 17th.
17th.
That's the Best in Snow. February 4th and 5th is the Klondike.
I think it's to the 16th, to 14th to 16th.
Is it, Doug? Okay.
Unless they're going to Monday.
I'm getting there slowly. Now let's see if I can share this. We'll see what happens. All right, come on, why are you hiding here? Okay. Okay, so that should show you. Anyways, they've got snowshoes and stuff like that. Cross-country skiing, snowman building contest, and shooting sports. And it's the shooting sports that I think is
I've got one, Vonda.
the limitation there for. So.
Can you blow that up any bigger, Dave?
Yeah, I can. Sorry about that.
The stuff that's written is hard to read.
Well, and you can pick that up on the website. So there you go. Is that a little better?
That's better, yeah.
Sorry about that.
So it's at Camp Tracy. Starts at 5 o'clock. $15.
Which covers ammunition. I like that one.
Amazed they can even get ammunition. Apparently it's so hard to come by these days.
Yeah. But anyways, so
I was at the scout office a couple of years ago and they brought a whole pickup truck full of it in.
Well, you know, who knows? We have places, we have things in places where we probably shouldn't have them anyways.
But I'm talking the back of a pickup truck.
No, I heard you. I just said there's numerous things sometimes they shouldn't be there, but anyways. So is there any further questions on the best of snow for 14 and older youth? If not, okay, that's all. That's just want to make sure that we got that covered.
We have another question for probably someone in the advancement committee, or maybe Dakota, you know this, but the question is, when do merit badge counselors need to resubmit applications for the next year?
I think if you retain your youth protection, you are kept on the list. There was an email that came out earlier this year, some point, where everybody had to re-register. They may be doing that on an annual basis. James Brown will be the one who'll be able to tell us. He's the merit badge person on the advancement committee, so we can ask on Monday.
Right. Is that hard, James?
You.
I don't know where in the state he's from. I'm sorry.
Yeah, as far as the merit badges, yes, we're going to re-register every year. Yeah. That's
So fill out registration and
yeah.
We'll send out a date. Do we know when that'll have to take place?
No, it doesn't have to happen with registration, but it will be qualified. If you're not current with your YPT, you'll be dropped. And if you have a bad email and scout book, you won't get the email. But we re-registered, I think, Christian, it was over 700 merit badge counselors in the council.
Yeah, like 700 out of the 900 who were originally
it was pretty
on the
good.
list.
And actually a portion of them declined to re-register.
Yeah.
So it was pretty dang.
On the last meeting, Mike?
Pardon me?
Did they talk about that on the last meeting?
No, this has been several
it's
meetings
just
ago.
James Brown is the merit badge
correct
for the council, and he's done a really good job of creating this. It'll come out as an email to you. You can click on the link and you can say, yes, I want to continue. And it was really simple for all those that it worked with.
Okay.
But if your email is wrong in Scout Book,
right,
you're in trouble because it goes nowhere.
Because then you
we'll
have to go through the whole process again.
But
So we're
no
we
need
just
to
wait.
fill out a new registration form.
Yeah.
Okay, but we just wait for an email so there's not like a certain date that we should expect that and then be worried if we don't see it. Okay.
And I'm not sure. I think we did it in April last year. It'll probably be the same time period. And it really did go pretty well. It was very easy. If you wanted to continue, you could say you could continue. But I would say watch your YPT, make sure you're current.
So,
And we were pretty liberal. If somebody accidentally got missed, we added them back in once they said, hey, where am I? So hopefully it's refined. Everybody that signed up new in this last year will be on that and they'll get an email. What we were trying to discourage was, at least in my district, we had some people that had 65 merit badges registered. We're trying to get fewer by far. And some of those people went away. Some of them will continue. We're not going to try to punish everybody, but we're trying to get to 6 or 8 is pretty acceptable. And then some cases, people are specialized in others that we want to add to.
yeah.
And they had some needs in the council for remote areas, but everybody's doing Zoom anyway. So most of that worked out, that they could find a counselor in one of the other districts if no one was in their area.
We got another question. Someone's asking if the council is considering holding a day-long training event in the future, such as University of Scouting or something similar to that. I know there's 2 Trainers Edge things coming up, end of February and end of March. Anything else that anybody knows about?
Doug, I know about University of Scouting. Mike Perkins sent out a survey. It was answered that most scouters want a University of Scouting. So he has agreed to put one on in the spring. So he's looking for a date now, and we'll get out the announcement once that date is solidified. But it is a go.
Do you happen to know if that's going to be virtual or in person or both?
I don't know that yet, Doug.
Okay. Well, that's encouraging though, that there's going to be one. That's great. I know all the ones I've ever attended have been awesome. So.
Good way to rub shoulders with good people.
Yes, it is. Speaking of rubbing shoulders, we still have about 45 people here. I'm curious to know, is everybody here located in the state of Utah, or do we have anybody else outside of Utah?
Currently, everybody's in Utah.
I'm going to assume everybody's in Utah. I know I talked to one person from St. George. Anybody else from, is there anybody from like down in the Blanding area?
Well, we excluded a number of people already.
I know we did. And then a lot of other people have left already. How about up in the Cache County area? Or Rich County?
Yeah, I still got some guys there.
Yeah.
There were some on, Doug. I know, I recognize the names.
Okay, good. There's a couple people. Don Ship, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but Utah County. Dana Webster from Cache County.
Not Utah County, actually, the Roy units.
Oh, Utah. Okay, not Utah County, but
State of
Utah.
No, yeah.
All right.
State of Utah.
Gotcha.
And yes, you pronounced it right. Thank you.
I'm sensitive to mispronouncing names because I've got one that's really hard for people. If they see it, they can't pronounce it, and if they hear it, they can't spell it. So I'm well aware of that.
Do we say it wrong, Doug, all the time to you?
No, you guys have figured it out.
Oh, okay.
You've heard me say it enough times.
But
I answered almost anything.
One of the things that we did unique, I believe, for the first time in the council, and that was that we, for the Scouts BSA session, we did a PLC, and the youth were the ones that put together the movie slots and everything. And my intent, since now I know that there's a movie makers merit badge that will encourage other units that aren't able to attend on our Thursday night roundtables to participate via their activities and stuff like that that they film for us that we can show. So anybody in our council, just beware, because I'm not afraid to ask.
Hey, we're dropping people here and we have hit the bottom of the hour.
Okay.
I just want to say for those of you that are left, I just put my email address in the chat. If you have any comments or questions from tonight's roundtable, don't hesitate to send me an email. Thank you all for participating. It's great to have everybody from across the council at things like this. I think there's a lot of value in doing council-wide roundtables occasionally, and I'm really glad that we were able to have the opportunity and honor to host this one. Apologize again for the snafu with the limit on participants. We'll again try to get everything posted by tomorrow, hopefully. But thank you for all attending, and I'm going to drop.
Well, Doug, you did a good job.
Well,
Doug,
thank you.
Doug, I agree. You did an
well
excellent
worth it.
job.
Yeah.
Dave,
Dana, when you get a
Very
minute,
well
give me a call.
Okay, will do.
I'm going to drop, so thank you all. If you want to hang on, until someone who controls the meeting shuts it down, I guess you're welcome to stay on, but that might
I'm
happen
leaving
any
too.
second. So, and it's
Happy
good to
New
see
Year,
some
everybody.
familiar faces there, like Phil Roth. I see your face just popped up. Hi, Phil. Anyways, have a great weekend and a happy new year to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Can I make
See ya.
one comment? This is Trevor.